dressed up like Eeyore. Hello, Eeyore and Gopher, said Boo. Dagnabbit, said Gopher. You know it's me. He left to find a new costume. Come on, Boo, cried Digger. We'd better get a move on. But first, we need to get Piglet, Boo replied. Piglet was putting the finishing touches on his costume when he heard a Digger-like boo-hoo-hoo coming from his entryway. Why, Piglet, said Boo as his friend hurried to greet them. Where's your costume? We've got to get Halloween in, said Digger. Oh, Piglet stammered. He didn't really want to go outside. While Piglet gets ready, said Boo, I'll try on my costume on our friends at the honey tree. But Boo, said Piglet, following his friend. Perhaps it would be best, Boo said as he started out the door, if you didn't say my name. It might make the bees suspicious. But the bees knew exactly what Boo was trying to do. They began to buzz angrily. Boo and the others ran away from the honey tree as fast as they could. Nearby, Rabbit inspected his pumpkin patch. Perfect, he proclaimed. Bzzz. Suddenly, Rabbit heard the bees. He looked up just in time to see Boo, Piglet, Digger, and Eeyore smash into his beautiful pumpkins. The bees flew away, disturbed by all the chaos. Of all my favorite holidays, Rabbit sighed, Halloween just isn't one. Soon it grew dark, and Piglet hurried home. As he got into his costume, he realized he was just too scared to go outside. Suddenly, there was a knock at the door. Who's there? He squeaked. It's me, them, us, said a Boo-sounding voice. Pooh Bear asked Diglett, how can I be certain it's you? Perhaps if you say something only you would say, then I'd be certain. How about, I am Boo? You are, said a confused Boo. Then who am I? It is you, squealed Piglet, jumping out of his costume and opening the door. Piglet, said Boo, will you be joining us for Halloween? I'm afraid I'm just too afraid, Piglet replied. That's okay, said Pooh Bear. We won't have a Halloween. We'll have a Halloween, wasn't? Thank you, Pooh Bear, Piglet said, smiling. Piglet and Pooh explained their plan to Eeyore and Digger, and with that, everyone went home. Alone once more, Piglet created lots of notes telling all the spookables and monstrous beasts to stay away. They had to know that it was a Halloween wasn't at his house somehow. Oh, but I am, he said. I've decided to be Boo's best